They take on our Cubs, and all the excitement comes your way in a moment.
Chicago Cubs baseball on Channel 9. The Cubs are brought to you by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light. True Value Hardware Stores. Got a tough job to do? You can do it with True Value Hardware Stores. Buick and your local Buick dealers. Remember Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. United. Chicago's hometown airline is proud to be the official airline of the Chicago Cubs. By Pepsi. Gotta have it. And by the Chicago Tribune. Chicagoland's choice for sports. Daily and Sunday.
Controversial? Probably. Different? Absolutely. I know you're gonna dig No Bull. Every week with Phil Jackson, plus the hot shots and loose cannons of the NBA. Less bull, more bull. It's the show they'll be talking about Monday morning, so you better be there Sunday night. No Bull with Phil Jackson. Sunday night at 10 on Channel 9.
Can you tell the difference between these contact lenses? They're the same brand, same prescription, but this lens cost 50% less and was delivered right to my home. That's the Lens Express difference.
Save on brand name contacts, daily wear, extended wear, disposables, and others.
I wouldn't trust these baby blues to just anyone. Call Lens Express. They're terrific.
Now you can replace your contacts and save. Call for a free Lens Express catalog.
What a beautiful day in Philadelphia. Hello again, everybody. Harry Carey with Steve Stone and Tom Brenneman. And this is the Phillies' opening game at home. They opened by winning 3 in a row in Houston.
Harry, it's been a long time since the Phillies have won more than 3 in a row to start the season. You have to go all the way back to 1915 to see a better start by the Phillies. They're hoping to make it 4 in a row today, and Ben Rivera is going to the mound for Philadelphia against Frank Castillo, who needs a good effort because, Harry, this is some offense.
Oh, that certainly is. And they had this same offense last year until they got crippled up. And it's a good ball club. And Rivera, who's a product of the Atlanta organization, they traded him to the Phillies, and he's become a budding star.
Rivera's got a very good fastball, but he has a tendency to be wild, and hopefully he'll be wild early today.
All right, we'll be back with the exciting play-by-play in a moment.
Stand by for an exclusive video offer from WGN Sports. Top athletes have 3 things in common.
Strength, speed, explosiveness.
The Chicago Bulls work on these areas with strength and conditioning coach Al Vermeil.
Now, you can too.
Hi, I'm Al Vermeil. My training techniques have worked for the world champion Chicago Bulls and the Super Bowl champion San Francisco 49ers. And now they can work for the athletes in your family. My new video can help improve performance in 3 critical areas.
Strength, speed, explosiveness.
This is what it takes to be a winner, right here.
Al Vermeil's Success Through Training video and workbook is only $29.95 plus $4.50 postage and handling. Have your Visa or MasterCard ready when you call 1-800-358-2500 or send certified check or money order to the address on your screen. For Success Through Training, call 1-800-358-2500 now.
Before your competition does.
Hello again, everybody. Harry Carey, Steve Stone, with Justin and David by the United States Navy parachute team. The leapfrog coming out of the air. Here's another guy landing. This is a fanatic. He's not connected with the United States Navy. And he does not fall as adeptly as the men from the Navy do. Boy, what a sight. And now the fanatic being brought to his senses, I'm sure he passed out, coming down on the parachute. What a show for opening day. Here's another one of the leapfrogs from the United States Navy parachute team.
It was really unbelievable, and what a sight in front of a packed house. They expect close to 60,000 fans here today, and it would be only the second sellout in the history of the Philadelphia Phillies, and they've got people everywhere in this very attractive ballpark.
As I remember, the first sellout was opening day last year, when again they opened in the daytime. First time they'd opened the day for a long time. They do 60,400 plus. Now here's a parachute team again. They're waving to the crowd on the field. We're just showing you, we take some of the pregame stuff as they landed from the cloud. What a sight. All right, the lineups today. For the Chicago Cubs. By the way, the man pitching for the Phillies today is only 6'6", 230 pounds. Here's the Cubs lineup presented by Crystal Pepsi. Willie Wilson leads off in center field. Sanchez in short. Grace at first. Dermy in left. Sosa in right. Bouchel at first. Wilson at catcher. Caino at second. And Frank Castillo, his first start of the new season, will be on the hill. The defensive alignment for the Phillies, Milt Thompson, 35-year-old veteran, second time around with the Phillies, in left back center, in right. Holland, Bell, Mondini, and Kruk around the field. Dalton Pesci, and Ben Rivera, who's 6'6", 26 years old, 220 pounders. And now Jim Fregosi and Jim Lefevre, the respective managers, are at home plate.
Ben Rivera is an interesting story because he was drafted by the Atlanta Braves, or signed as an amateur free agent out of San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican Republic. That was back in 1986. Then he was traded to Philadelphia. Last year, Rivera started the season in the bullpen for the Braves, and they didn't have any plans for him. And Lee Thomas, the general manager, who's done a fine job with his Philadelphia team, especially in making little deals, got Rivera from the Braves. When they got him, he had some physical problems, and he was put on the disabled list sent to the minor league. But he came back last year with 7-3 for the Phillies. They made a starter out of him, and here he is in the starting rotation this year. And this Philadelphia team is as exciting as any team in the National League East, and might have the best offensive lineup of any team in the National League, period.
They certainly do have a great offense. You know, I'd like to talk just a moment about Chicagoland cable TV. You know, every time the Cubs are preempted, their game now is carried on Chicagoland cable. That's channel 10. That's they've altered the numbers, and the Chicagoland TV is number 10 on your TV dial now. In Chicago, at least, it's channel number 10. I would imagine it varies. What I wanted to say is they replayed the Cubs game at midnight, and the last couple of nights I've had an opportunity to watch. And, you know, we take for granted the expert ability of Arnie Harris and his great crew, and he certainly has a great one. And I enjoyed the game so, even having already seen it in person. And I might say I was a little proud that Steve, you and Tommy and I kind of matched the brilliance of our crew. And it made a very, very good show to see. And if you miss the game during the day and you have access to the Chicagoland cable, I certainly would recommend you doing so.
Well, not only that, Harry, but there are 9 Wednesday nights that we wouldn't have done if not for Chicagoland cable. So last year we were blacked out and preempted. This year we'll be able to do the games live, and you'll be able to see them live on Chicagoland cable.
You know, I'm just watching the cable. the Chicagoland cable, it occurred to me that they are going to be like their operations like CNN, only it's on a local basis. They cover news, everything that happens. They have the services of the great Tribune News, and all day long you're able to follow what they got on the air, and it pertains strictly to what's happening in Chicago, and much the same kind of presentation that CNN has become famous for. All right, can we be the first to beat the Philadelphia Phillies?
Ben Rivera has a tendency to be wild, especially in the opening innings. Let's see if the Cubs can show some patience early and maybe pick up a couple of walks.
First pitch, in there, a strike ball.
Rivera modified his windup last year, and that really helped him with his control because as a member of the Atlanta Braves, he couldn't get the ball over the plate.
He's ahead now, old Lou.
Wes Chamberlain was supposed to start in right field today, but he got to the park late, and in his place, Pete Incaviglia playing right field.
Whoa, almost hit him. Foul tip, and he's out. In falling away, the ball kicked his bat, went into the catcher's glove, Darren Dalton, and Willie Wilson is out on strikes. That's a strikeout.
This is really an 0-2 fastball that Rivera tries to throw up and in to Wilson. And Wilson, trying to back out of the way, just barely gets the bat on the ball. Dalton hangs on, and it's strikeout number 1 for Rivera, who's going to strike out a few this year.
Here's a pitch outside to Ray Sanchez. Sanchez hitting .273. Wilson, by the way, out of the Cubs' 24 hits, Willie Wilson has 13 of them. There's a pitch foul back. Make that 7 out of their 24 hits for the Cubs. Are better than 1/4 of them. Sanchez. Outside, a slider barely missed. Sanchez is 3 out of 11 for the young season, with 1 run batted in. Fouled it out of play.
Phillies feel their defense is going to be a little better than last year when they certainly had some problems. Now, Juan Bell at shortstop has made a couple of errors. He has a tendency to make some careless errors, but he has a fine arm, and he's got very good range at shortstop.
High pop fly, easy out. Lenny Dykstra. 2 out. 2 up, 2 down. A lot of empty seats. This was a sellout. Now, either the people haven't arrived yet, or the scalpers are stuck with a lot of tickets that they haven't been able to sell at much more expensive prices than they bought them for. 2 out, nobody on. Here's Mark Grace. A little bit over the inside corner, a strike.
These two teams split the season series last year 9-9, with each team going 6-3 at home.
Strike 2 over the outside corner. Boy, look how big that Ben Rivera is. 6'7" at least. Ground ball with a weak swing. Out at first. Juan Bell to Kruk. We go in the bottom of the first. No score.
My brother.
Harry back to the ballpark. The Philadelphia lineup. Dykstra leads off. Morandini at second. Kruk at first. Hollins batting cleanup. Dalton hitting 5th. Milt Thompson in left field. Pete Incaviglia in right. Juan Bell, the shortstop. And Ben Rivera, the pitcher. Crystal Pepsi presents the Cubs defense. May, Wilson, Sosa around the outfield. Buechele, Sanchez, Vizcaíno, and Grace on the infield. Wilkins catching. Frank Castillo's on the mound. Lenny Dykstra
Strangely enough, the toughest hitter, as far as the Phillies are concerned, against Frank Castillo is Mickey Morandini. And he's in the second spot, and surprisingly, has a home run early in this season.
Fastball over the inside corner. Dykstra has had 2 out of 13, hitting only 154, but he's had one of his 2 hits was a triple. Here's a pitch. High, Popeye coming in. Derek May, easy out, 1 away.
That's going to be the pitch that Frank Castillo is going to have to establish early, and that's a straight change. And usually the first time through the order, Frank will surprise a lot of these hitters with the straight change. But Mickey Morandini is one of the guys that can wait on the change, because if you look at his batting style, he's using a big, heavy bat and probably choking up as much as anybody in the game right now, and that's something he adopted last year.
Morandini, 5 out of 16. Better than 330, about 333. A little below 333. For his career against the pitching of Frank Castillo. No score. Fastball is high. James Craven, a writer for WGN's Bozo Show, living in Emporia, Virginia, watching the ball game. There's a high fly ball, should be caught. Derek May in left center under it. 2 gone. Craven's in his hometown, Philadelphia, to watch the opener here today. And he wants to say hello to Bozo, Cookie, Spiffy, Nizzo, Professor Andy, Director Alan Hall, Barbara Shakami. There's a pitch foul out of play. There's Jim Fregosi, the manager of the Phillies.
Last year, John Kruk had some problems driving the ball to left field, and that was because he had a bad shoulder, but he had the shoulder operated, and now he's back doing what he does best, and that's driving the ball out to left center field.
Kruk is 4 out of 12 against the pitching of Castillo during his career. One of those 4 hits was a homer. Fastball outside.
Kruk has a wide open stance, stands well off the plate, and really invites the ball away. If you get it belled high or above, that's the ball that he'll drive to left center. Last year he only hit 10 home runs, but this year he's going to fly by that total because he is a good hitter.
Oh, fooled him with a change. Boy, he was way out in front of that. 3 of the 9 men starting this ball game for the Phillies have hit home runs. Well, Frank Castillo, Kruk, Hollins, and Juan Bell, the shortstop. 2-2. Bounces in the dirt. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Dave Hollins will be next. Kruk hitting .455 for the new season, with 5 out of 11. 4 of his 5 hits have been doubles. Line drive, left field, base hit, extra bases, his 5th double of the year. A ground rule double, but anyway, the ball bounced over the wall. He hadn't doubled anyway, no more than that. So now he has had front. Now has had 6 hits, 5 of them being doubled.
We talked about John Kruk loving to hit the ball the opposite way if you throw it well belled high, and that's exactly where Castillo got it. Kruk drives it over the wall, in at second base, and there's no let up in this lineup with Hollins, Dalton, and Thompson, the next 3 hitters. 6 left-handers in a row facing Frank Castillo, and this is a powerful Philly lineup.
You know, as I listen to you, I can't help but think this is a good team to throw a left-hander against. Yeah. The pitch. Curveball high. Hollins. who's 3 out of 16 against Castillo, hitting only .231 this year. He's batted in 2 runs. Pitch a little outside. Darren Dalton will be next.
Dave Hollins had a remarkable year last year with 27 home runs, 93 runs batted in, hitting an even .270 for the Phillies and establishing himself as one of the most powerful third basemen in all of baseball.
Way outside the change. And so with 2 outs, the Cubs now find themselves with the Phillies having a base runner at second and a count of 3-0 on Dave Hollins. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Fregosi turned him loose. Ball 4, he walked. And here is Darren Dalton, who had the sensational year.
Dalton just signed a 4-year extended contract for $18 million. He's another man who had 27 home runs with 109 runs batted in last year. And surprisingly, for a man who's had a few leg operations, Dalton stole 11 bases.
Dalton hit .270. But what a hard .270. 27 homers. 109 RBIs, 32 doubles, 5 triples. Curveball is in there, a strike call. Dalton is now 31 years old. Makes his home in Florida. There's a drive. Way back. It might be. It is a 3-run homer. And the Phillies lead 3-0. And quite obviously, he didn't get that ball, that pitch, where he wanted to.
That shows you how strong Darren Dalton is, able to take the ball the opposite way. His second home run of the year. He now has driven in 5. And his hitting instructor, Dennis Mankey, feels that Dalton's going to have a bigger year this year than he had last year.
Here's Mel Thompson. Watch it again.
This fastball is up. Outer course of the plate, and Dalton goes the opposite way and takes it way back.
Milt Thompson, a bouncing ball over the first to retire the side. After 2 are out. 3 runs, 2 hits. Nobody left, no errors. At the end of 1, 3-0 Philadelphia. Eric Harry, Steve Stone, as we go into second, and the Cubs trail 3-0. Boy, that's been the story all 4 games. Only 1 game we didn't trail him. There's a smash, base hit for Derek May. May on the first pitch ripped a single past Mickey Morandini, who was playing him in short right field. To Sammy Sosa. I think the only game the Cubs won in was the 1-0 one-hitter that Jose Guzman pitched. By the way, today is Guzman's 30th birthday. He'll pitch tomorrow. Started a swing, tried to check. He had gone around.
This is a great hitter's ballpark. It's 330 down the line, 371 to the power alleys, and 408 to straightaway center. But it's very lively in this ballpark, especially down the line and in the power alley. Good hitting background with the black cloth over the center field wall, and the Phillies will use it to best advantage this year because they are loaded offensively.
Fastball low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. 3-0 Phillies. Darren Dalton, his first homer of the year. His second homer of the year. He now has driven in 5 runs with 2 homers for Dalton. In his 4th game of the season, he already has 2 homers, and he hit 27 last year. There's a drive and stays fair. Look out, look out. Goes foul. So the count 2-2 on Sammy Sosa.
A couple of Dominicans going head-to-head here with Sosa battling Rivera. Talking with Sammy today over lunch, he was talking about his start as a baseball player and said that he didn't start playing baseball till he was 14 years old, which is most unusual for somebody from the Dominican Republic. He was signed to a professional contract at 16 years old, and the Texas Rangers were the team that signed him.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Rivera fouls it back. A curveball hung. He had a good cut and fouled it. The Phillies as a team are hitting 240. The Phillies as a team hitting 243. They've had 3 homers. And the Cubs have had none. Just missed with a fastball. 3-2. Let's see if Derek May will be going. Probably not. Sosa strikes out a lot, you know. A night game tomorrow night. There goes a runner. Swung, foul back. The starting time tomorrow night will be 6 o'clock Chicago time. It means they start their night games at 7 o'clock. The Phillies now start their Friday afternoon games at 3 o'clock. I guess they started this one at 3 o'clock because it's Good Friday. There goes a runner. Ball 4. Low and outside. And here is Steve Buechele. Buechele away to a slow start. Only 1 out of 9. A single. He struck out once. He walked twice. Double play ball. Out at second base for 1. Out at first for 2. Oh, boy. He does that often.
Pretty quick double play, and the second time that Buechele grounded into a double play this year. A routine 6-4-3, and Morandini is getting better and better since making the conversion from shortstop to second base. You watch Morandini touch the bag and then move off to the outfield side so that he can't get taken out of the play by Sammy Sosa. And that is a rally killer.
So 2 out, a runner at third. Boy, oh boy, you'd think if he'd ever try to hit the right field, it would be with men at first and second. Now this is the Cubs' 4th game. That's a second double play Buechele already has grounded into. That's 1 every 2 games. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 out, runner at third, and the Phillies are leading. Going for their 4th in a row. Curveball up high. 2 balls and the strike.
If Wilkins gets a fastball away, he can drive it out of the ballpark here, and Rivera probably will try to stay away with his fastball in this situation. We'll have to wait and see what Dalton calls, but let's see if Wilkins is looking out there.
Curveball in there, a strike ball. 2-2. The outfield bunches Wilkins towards center, giving him both lines. A little outside, a curveball. 3-2, 2 out. A runner at third. The Phillies lead 3-0. A weak swing. Boy, Rivera. They really make him look bad with that change of pace. He throws the ball so hard, and then he gooses up a little slow curve. 3-2. Barely foul-tipped it. 3-2.
Take a look at the mask of Greg Bonet behind the plate as Rivera tries to throw the fastball by him, and it's an early wake-up call for Bonet.
2 men around. The pitch. Fouled off again.
That one knocked off the mask of Darren Dalton. So Wilkins hitting the quinella behind the plate, and take a look at the mask of Dalton.
Wilkins trying for his first hit of the year. He's 0 for 7. Three balls, 2 strikes. Ball 4. They appeal, but the third base umpire, Jerry Davis, says no, he did not swing. That's a second base on balls. Given up by Rivera. Boy, that double play that Buechele rolled into sure helped Ben Rivera out considerably. Vizcaíno. He's 1 out of 10 for the season. Curveball over the inside corner. The outfield playing Vizcaíno very shallow and left. And not too deep in the center and right either. Fastball low. He throws hard, this guy, right over the top.
He could be playing right into the hands of the Cubs if he does throw another curveball, because the outfield radically shifted the opposite way. Thinking that Jose can't get around on it, but he will be able to get around on an off-speed pitch.
High pop foul. Can't be reached in the stand. I tell you, Cubs not getting good swings at Rivera. That was a weak swing. He happened to foul it off. Well, they're not reading him too well yet. But you know the history about these clubs. They always seem to play a very close ball game. High curveball. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on. High foul ball out of play. Charlie Brumbach, Stanton Cook, and Jim Donald all watching the Cub road opener. Fouled it back out of play. The Scott family is here from Manoa Air Force Base in North Dakota. And Dalton wants to talk to Ben Rivera.
Rivera started off with a very good spring. He had a couple of spring starts, and then he got a very bad case of the flu. And it really just decimated his spring. He lost some weight, was very weak, and couldn't throw the ball for a while, and had some control problems after that. Now, he's walked a couple early in this one, but so far the Cubs have not hit the ball very well, except for Derek May.
Two pitch. Ball three. Phil and Maggie Tripp from Westchester, Pennsylvania here. Commotion in the stand. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch. There's a drive. Way back. It might be out of here. It could be out of here. It is a game-tying home run by Jose Vizcaíno. He hit a 3-2 fastball to the inner portion of the plate over the right field wall to tie up the ball game 3-3. Boy, oh boy, that's unexpected power from the 8th place hitter who doesn't hit many during the course of the year, but he just tied up the ball game.
And he tied it up in a hurry as Rivera goes to the fastball, and Jose drives it just out of the ballpark. Montgomery Ward donates $300 to Cubs Care, and this is a brand new game.
Here now, a little pop fly. Hey, for a base hit by Frank Castillo. So the Cubs have come back and tied the ball game. You know, the last couple of years, whoever get out in front when these two clubs played, the other team would come from behind. And eventually somebody would win, of course, and somebody would lose. But you never knew until the last pitch. There's a good shot of the Cubs dugout. Vizcaíno. He doesn't. There he is. See, naturally happy grin on his face for a moment. Right to the shortstop. Willie Wilson lined hard. Wando. 3 rounds on 3 hits. No errors, 1 left. We go in the bottom of the second, all tied up at 3.
Outstanding high school students. Mine, Walgreens, and Lewis University visual and performance. Of his style. He's also an accomplished musician, and as a world-class roller skating competitor, Victor has received several medals for his unique style. This extra effort award was brought to you by Walgreens and Lewis University, for kids' sake.
Do you want to make more money? Sure, we all do. So call this free number to find out how easy it is to train for a better career. And I have more than 10 million men prepared for new careers without setting foot inside a classroom. And now at home, in your time, you can get your diploma or your degree. Choose from any one of these courses. High school, TV VCR repair, computer programming, electrician, animal care specialist, auto mechanics, bookkeeping, legal assistant, interior decorating, drafting, hotel restaurant management, learning the personal computer, electronics, or get your degree. You can major in business management or accounting. Make this important call right now.
Call now for the free information Sally Struthers spoke about. Then decide if you want to train at home for a better career to make more money. Call 1-800-628-1800. There's absolutely no obligation. That's 1-800-628-1800 for free career information. Call now.
Don't let your life go up in smoke. Call the Medical Smoking Control Center at 708-841-1000. You'll meet with a doctor who will help you quit smoking forever without nicotine fits, without withdrawals. We're here to help. Call 708-841-1000.
And Steve Stone, well, certainly didn't miss Ryan Sandberg that time at bat. He couldn't have done any more than Jose Vizcaino did. But listen to his home run for Vizcaino. In '87, playing with the Sarasota Dodgers. Here's a little tap. Big Cadena is out from Frank Castillo to Mark Grace. With Bakersfield in '88, didn't hit any home run. In '89 with Albuquerque, he hit 1 home run in 130 games. In '90 with Albuquerque, he hit 2 home runs. In '91 with the Cubs, he didn't hit any home runs. Last year with the Cubs, he hit 1. This year he has hit 1. Since 1987, counting both minor leagues and major leagues, he now has hit 4 home runs. 2 of them in the major league.
He must have saved it up, Harry, because he hit that ball hard, and although it just barely made it, it was good enough to tie up the game, and now it's up to Frank Castillo to hold down this potent Philly offense, because they will get to Ben Rivera today.
The pitch, a little tap. In fast, the play, in time. Juan Bell is retired from Vizcaino the Great. That'll bring up Ben Rivera, the pitcher.
Well, we told you about the lively park, and it seems, especially during the daytime, that the ball just jumps out of here. So if you hit the ball with anything on it, it's going out of the park.
Rivera takes it over the outside corner. A ground ball, Buechele in. He's got it. The throw in time. 1, 2, 3. Nothing across. At the end of 2, it's tied up at 3-3. Harry Carey back at the bet in Philadelphia. It's time for today's Aflac trivia question. Going to today's game, the Cubs have played 48 regular season innings without a home run. Who was the last player to hit a home run? We'll give you the answer later. It's one of those 4 guys. I think I know, but I can't tell you. There's Sanchez leading it off. Curveball in there, a beauty. 0-2.
Now with a count 0-2, Thompson and Dykstra move way around toward right center field.
And that's where he would have hit it, but he fouled it off.
Now they started out playing Sanchez as somewhat of a pull hitter, but not anymore.
Inside. Sanchez. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fouled it back. Second game of the series tomorrow night. And Jose Guzman will pitch a sensational 1-hit shutout. Who's celebrating his 30th birthday today. Pitch outside. Schedule a pitch for the Cubs. Big liner right to Morandini. Grace. One out, nobody on. Boy, could you believe it? They lost my bag delivering it to my room last night.
But they got it to you just in time, didn't they?
I was waiting until the line drive base hit. I waited until 4:30 in the morning. Finally got the bag. They sent it up to the wrong room and not even to a player's room.
You didn't find anybody wearing your clothes this morning, did you?
I don't think so. I think it was an empty room. Arnie's right. He carries his bag with him wherever he goes.
Yeah, but he goes on a 10-day road trip with an 8-inch bag.
Yeah, but he always smells all right. 1 out, 1 on. 3-3 tie. Oh, he had a cut. Derek May. He got the first hit, a single to right center. The Cubs now with 4 hits. Phillies have 2. The Phillies was a big one, a 3-run homer. And so was the Cubs a big one. A 3-run homer by Vizcaino. Vizcaino's was of a surprise, like a surprise attack on Ben Rivera. The Dalton hits him off everybody. Swung late, fouled it down the third base line, 2-2.
What you hope for with Rivera is he'll miss with the curveball, which he's done a few times today, and then throw you that fastball. Now, his fastball, although it is fairly fast, he doesn't have a lot of movement on it. And the left-handers especially get a good swing at it. But Derek will probably be looking at a curveball here.
Whoa, he could have straightened that out. He hit the ball hard, but foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Derek May, the 2 out of 6 now for the season. Race a runner at first. Fouled it off again. A breaking ball over the outside portion of the plate.
I think some National League pitcher is going to be surprised this year, because last year the word on Derek May in his rookie season was to throw the fastball in on his hand. But he's worked long and hard with Billy Williams, and now he can hit that ball inside, especially if he's looking in there.
Iowa lost its season opener to Nashville, 8-5. Kevin Roberson had 2 out of 4. Scott Wade hit a 3-run homer. But Jim Bullinger took the loss, allowing 5 runs in 1 2/3 innings of relief. And Orlando won its season opener. Connie Kowal running that ball club.
Mike Harkey will throw tonight at Orlando, and they had a packed house last night.
They played before a record crowd of 5,884 in Orlando. There's a drive into right field, way back, way back, way back. It might hit it! A home run! Holy cow! Derek May over the right center field wall. And the Cubs lead 5-3. Oh, did he put the muscle on that? But Incavidia kind of fooled you. It looked the way he was going that he was going to catch the ball. But it kept going and going and going.
Well, he could have caught it, Harry, but he's not 40 feet tall. As that was a towering blast to right center field. Montgomery Ward donates another $200 to Cubs Care, and the Cubs have put 5 on the board via the long ball. Another 3-2 pitch, another 3-2 fastball, and Derek May explodes it. This very lively ballpark's going to have some trouble holding the ball today, especially with very little wind down here in this bowl configuration.
Well, I said we're going to find out about whether it's the Atlanta pitching or whether the Cubs hitting. I guess quite obviously the answer is that it was the Atlanta pitching.
Well, the Dodgers found that out last night.
There's a pitch swung on by Sammy, way back in the center field near the wall. Off the top of the wall. Here's Sosa around second, on his way to third, and he will make it easily. Sammy Sosa hit the top of the center field wall.
And the notorious patient Philly fans, Harry, on this beautiful opening day, are letting Ben Rivera hear an earful. As Rivera hangs a curveball, Tommy Green loosening up in the bullpen, and Dykstra going back to the wall. He can't get to it, and Sosa easily in at third base. And so Johnny Padres coming out to talk now with Ben Rivera, who's shell-shocked early in this one.
You see Sammy running around those bases. He can really scamper. And so Sammy continues his fine hitting. Watch Sammy running this out. Now he starts right here. He's looking. Now he goes into high gear. Now watch him from here. Now look at that.
I think, Harry, had he not trotted to first base, thinking the ball was going out of the park, he might have had an inside-the-park home run on that one.
You know, that's my pet peeve. All I want to see a Major League ball player do is run the first 90 feet as hard as he can.
That was called a premature home run trot.
There's a fly ball. It's going to drop. Another run will score. A base hit for Buechele, who loops a single in his short right center. You'd never know this club was just opening its home season, having swept the 3-game series from the tough Houston Astros and beating their 3 top pitchers.
Well, the Philly fans are in good voice as they're booing Ben Rivera as Buechele drives in his first of the year. Sammy doing the honors. The Cubs have a 3-run lead. And I don't know how long Ben Rivera is for this game. It's not very long, as Tommy Green will come in, Jim Ragosi will come out, and Harry, it's been a very entertaining 2.5 innings so far.
You know, I can't help but remember the remark that Mike Schmidt, the great third baseman of the Phillies, who was roundly booed here, he's hit one of his many home runs. Naturally, they cheered. The next time up, if he pop up or strike out, they boo. And they asked Mike Schmidt about that. Oh, he said, that doesn't bother you. In Philadelphia, they would boo Santa Claus. We'll have more for you following this message.
In order to recognize outstanding high school students, Channel 9, Walgreens, and Lewis University present the Extra Effort Award. This week we salute Victor Washington of Emerson School of Visual and Performing Arts. Victor is valedictorian of his senior class. He's also an accomplished musician. And as a world-class roller skating competitor, Victor has received several medals for his unique style. This Extra Effort Award was brought to you by Walgreens and Lewis University for kids' sake.
Are they highs? Yeah. Maybe lows. Heavy rain.
Boy, it seems funny. He pitched a no-hit, no-run game 2 years ago. Now he's relegated to the bullpen. He's had a little arm trouble.
Last year he had some arm problems, although he was 3-3 with the Phillies, a 5.32 ERA, which is high. He appeared in just 13 games, starting 12 of them, and a lot of people felt that he would be the number 5 starter this year, and it just might work out that way. But Green making his first appearance of the year, and we will pause for station identification.
This is WGN-TV Chicago, America's #1 sports station.
Harry Carey back to the ballpark. Boy, I don't know if I can contain myself, Arnie. If you don't hurry up and put the answer to the Aflac trivia question, I'm going to have to blow it by blurting it out before I'm supposed to. We got to wait till the inning's over, right? Here's Rick Wilkins. A runner at first. 3 runs are home. The Cubs lead 6-3. Swung and a miss. Wilkins is 0 for 7 for the season.
Tommy Green also out of the Atlanta Braves system. Was acquired by Lee Thomas, the general manager, and for a while it looked like he was going to be a star on this club, but physical problems have derailed him.
Swung a breaking ball. Tommy Green. Big right-hander. Swung, and he struck him out. Wilkins swung at some bad pitches and struck out.
Tommy Green's big year with Philadelphia was 1991, where he went 13-7 with an ERA of 3.38. Pitched 207 innings that year, and it looked like he was on his way. But last year, once again, having some arm problems, and spent some time at Reading and Scranton trying to rehab before he came back to the major leagues. But it was pretty much a lost year for him.
Here's Vizcaíno. Pop fly, sharp left center. The shortstop Bell makes the catch. But 3-run score for the Cubs. On 4 hits, no errors, 1 left. The end of the half inning. Here is the question. Which one of those 4 was the last one to hit a home run? And here is the answer. Luis Salazar, October the 2nd in Montreal. Now, what do they get for that?
A hearty handshake and a hi-ho silver.
Here's Dykstra to lead it off. Hitting 143. Hit 301 last year. Fastball wide. Greetings to Mary Lou Ridstrom in St. Petersburg, Florida. Her son Dave Abramson is here watching the ball game. Strike call at the knee.
One thing the Phillies have to do is keep Len Dykstra healthy. The last couple of years he has not been healthy, and they're a different team without him in the leadoff spot. If he does stay healthy, they're going to score a lot of runs. But the question that Jim Fregosi will ask all year is how many will they permit?
Little wide, ball 3. I saw the little figure in the paper today. Their team percentage with Dykstra playing is something like 570. Without him playing, it's 414. So he's very important to their success. Ball 4, he walked him. Now that's a bad sign. With a 3-run lead, you walk the leadoff man.
It's most unusual for Frank Castillo, who really lives and dies with his control. Normally his control's spotless. Today he's walked a couple early in this one. And that's not a good thing to do against his Philly lineup.
Here's Mickey Morandini. He flied to left his first time up, hitting 300 for the new season with 1 homer and 2 RBIs. He tried a bunt foul. Strike 1.
Last year, Dykstra stole 30 bases in just 85 games. So not only will he give you a solid bat and exceptional defense, but he's got very good speed. Penciled out over a full season, that's around 50, 55 stolen bases, and that's probably what he'll do this year.
Morandini had a fine defensive year, made only 5 errors all of last season. Fouls it back, 0-2. Peoria opens its season tonight at Rockford in the Midwest League. John Lukovich, coach for the Phillies, on their bench. Among Vuk's duties is setting the outfielders for certain hitters, making sure they're playing them right. Did not go around. Wilkins wanted to appeal to the third base umpire, Jerry Davis. And they did. He said no. John Kruk next. Quick throw. Well, there's still empty seats. I got to believe the scalpers got stuck on those. Throws it into the dirt. Come on, Frank. 3 runs can disappear in a hurry, as Ben Rivera found out. Two balls, 2 strikes. Runner back. Dykstra lead. Line drive, double play. And away, a line drive, and Dykstra started a break. Couldn't get back in time, and Vizcaíno snapped throw to Grace, doubled them up.
Watch the break of Len Dykstra. He comes off the bag, and the cardinal rule is don't get doubled up on a line drive, and Dykstra cannot get back. Now, we saw Lenny Dykstra one time in a rundown, then a member of the New York Mets get hit purposely with a throw in a rundown, and looked like he was looking back at Vizcaíno to see if he could get in line with that throw, but no such luck.
Would you pitch this guy inside or outside?
I'd have to move the ball around, Harry, but more times than not, I'd go inside and try to get him there, because he has a wide open stance, but he steps right into the pitch, as you'll see with the front foot.
There, he did that time. He got a strike on him on the outside corner, and then busted him inside with a fastball.
The problem with John Kruk is if he's looking inside, then he doesn't step across, and then you've got a big problem, because he's strong enough to take you out in right field.
There's a high fly ball back, way back. Might be out of here, and it is. An 0-2 pitch. Kruk makes it a 6-4 ball game.
Well, we talked about the problem if you go toward the inner porch of the plate, and John Kruk is looking for it. And 0-2, he got a pitch right where he could handle it and drove it out over the fence in right center field. All Sammy Sosa could do was look up, and it was gone that quickly. So the bat's booming here in Philadelphia, as we've seen 4 of them go out of the park, and we're not through the 3rd inning.
And that is John Kruk's first home run of the year. Here's Hollins. High fastball out of play. Boy, the count was no balls, 2 strikes. The delivery. Curve inside. Cubs lead by 2, 6-4. It looked like Kruk anticipated the fastball.
Well, he didn't step quite as much across the plate as he usually does, Harry. And I don't mean across the plate, I mean to the plate, really, but across his body, looking for the ball away. That time, he just stayed fairly open and crushed it.
Fouled it out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
Holland's a switch hitter, but the right side is his natural side, and he's got much more power as a right-hand hitter. But he's a very good hitter from either side of the plate, and a powerful hitter.
6-4 in favor of the Cubs. Bouncing ball, that'll be easy. Vizcaíno to Gray. 1 run, 1 hit. No errors, nobody left. Harry Carey from Philadelphia. We're at the end of 3. The Cubs lead 6-4.
We thought we'd been everywhere, seen everything. We were wrong.
We're back to the bone. We're back to the bone.
These guys will weird. And we liked it. Later, they took us to the Tower of Bud. Brother, tomorrow we ride again.
Can't believe he broke it at the company picnic.
Incredible. Our employee health plan covers him, right?
Not deductibles or co-payments.
So he has to lay out his own money.
Gaps in your health plan can be costly. Aflac can help. Aflac is a leader in supplemental insurance with 35 years of dependable service. Today, employees of over 80,000 companies count on Aflac for the peace of mind to get on with life.
Any ideas?
Yeah, Aflac.
Aflac, insuring over 35 million people worldwide.
Not many things are more Chicago than United, but there are a few. United. Proud to fly more Chicagoans than any other airline. Come fly Chicago's hometown airline. Come fly the friendly skies.
It's an air show spectacular when Michael and Dominique take to the skies. Tonight at 6:30 on Channel 9.
With help from CARE, millions of people around the world are building better lives every day. Help make a world of difference. CARE.
Welcome back to Veterans Stadium. I'm Tom Brenneman along with Steve Stone. Our producer-director is Arnie Harris. And a good old slugfest going on here. 4 home runs in the game, and the Cubs lead it by 2.
Fortunately, the Cubs have found their offense just at the right time because these Phillies are going to put some runs on the board, and the Cubs' bats are booming.
Well, you expect a home run from Derek May, but the 3-run shot by Vizcaíno, I think, surprised everybody, including Ben Rivera.
And it was an early day for Ben Rivera, and hopefully Frank Castillo can right himself because these Phillies are going to score some more runs. And, Tommy, I don't think 6 is going to be enough today.
I agree with you. Frank Castillo leading things off for the Cubs here against Tommy Green on relief of Ben Rivera in the 4th inning. Rivera only hung around 2 1/3, allowed 7 hits, 6 earned runs. He walked a pair while striking out 1. The only reason Green is working out of the bullpen is because the Phillies have a number of off days through the first month of the season. But he will be part of their regular rotation in about another 2.5 weeks from now. Green, a 13-game winner in 1991, had shoulder tendonitis that sidelined him the majority of last season. And when he has his control, he is tough to beat.
He's a similar pitcher to Ben Rivera, and they both have great stuff, but both have a tendency to be wild.
There's ball 3 to Frank Castillo, full count. Tommy Green, native of Lumberton, North Carolina, now resides in Richmond, Virginia. Here's a payoff.
Frank Castillo might not get a lot of hits this year, but he takes a pretty good cut.
I like the way he gets up there. He chokes up on the bat, tries to make contact, and you never know what might happen. And he hit the ball there, but unfortunately, Len Dykstra in right center has it for the first out. Lenny having to battle a bright sun here today. It is a lovely afternoon for this time of year in Philadelphia.
And unfortunately, the rain clouds are moving in this evening, and they're expecting some rain for tomorrow, but they feel that it might clear out by tomorrow evening. So we'll have to see. It'll be a lot chillier tomorrow evening than it is today, however, as temperatures are supposed to be in the low 70s.
Here's Willie Wilson, the only Cub to hit safely in every game this season. He's 0 for 2 today. Lined hard to short, ending the 3-run second inning. Cubs in front, 6-4. Tommy Green, only 26 years old. Got a bright future ahead of him. 2-1 to Wilson. Talked about 91 when Green won 13. He was 6th in the National League in winning percentage, 6th in shutouts. He'll handle that hard ball off the bat of Wilson, 2 away, and was 10th in lowest batting average against him at .230, and even threw a no-hitter that year against the Expos in Olympic Stadium. He walked 7 in that game and fanned 10.
I think it's largely gone unnoticed, Tom, but if you look at the starting rotation, as well as really the heart and soul of this team, you'll realize that Lee Thomas, the general manager, has done an outstanding job piecing this club together because the entire starting rotation is acquired from other places.
Morandini is there, Sanchez is out, and Green has retired all 5 batters he's faced. Middle of the 4th, Phillies trailing the Cubs 6-4.
And enjoy Cubs baseball from the best seats in the house. Rent a Cubs mezzanine skybox and entertain clients, employees, and friends in style. Each mezzanine skybox includes 15 tickets to the box and 2 parking passes. Plenty of boxes are available throughout the season with special discounts in April and May. For more information, call 312-404-4068.
Well, here we go to begin the Philadelphia 4th inning. Darren Dalton looks at a strike. He'll be followed by Milt Thompson and Pete Incaviglia. Cubs are leading by 2 at 6-4. 4 home runs have been hit in this game. For the Phillies, John Kruk and Darren Dalton. And for the Cubs, Jose Vizcaino and Derek May. Boy, this Darren Dalton, 27 home runs, 109, a National League best batted in 1992.
Follow up somewhat on Lee Thomas and what he's done for this team. You look at the lineup, and he brought over Dykstra and Kruk and Hollins and Thompson, Incaviglia, Chamberlain. He brought Bell, Tommy Green. He wasn't left with much when he took over as a general manager, but they are a potent team right now.
Called a strike. Are they ever potent?
Number 1 starter Terry Mulholland, acquired from San Francisco. Kurt Schilling from Houston. Ben Rivera from Atlanta. Tommy Green from Atlanta.
Danny Jackson.
Just an amazing job by Lee Thomas and the staff here in Philadelphia.
Mitch Williams from the Cubs. Larry Anderson via free agency. List goes on and on. And he's done that while trying to build the farm system back up.
Still a little thin down there, though, Tom. They don't have a whole lot of talent in the system. That's why he's had to go from outside.
Dalton out of there on strikes. First strike out of the game for Frank Castillo.
This is a good sinker low and away from Dalton. It's out of the strike zone, but watch the movement on the ball. It just sinks and dies out of the zone, and very good location for Castillo.
Milt Thompson into the 3-run Philadelphia first with a ground ball to Steve Buechele.
Here's a guy that's an interesting story. Milt Thompson, acquired as a free agent. St. Louis did not have any use for him because they had a logjam in the outfield. But Thompson, close to a .290 lifetime hitter, just hasn't found a spot to play. But every time he has played, he's gotten a lot of hits.
I've always liked this guy.
Well, he's always killed the Cubs. Doesn't matter what uniform he's wearing, and he knows now in Philadelphia that he will play against all the right-handers in the league, and he's going to get his 400-some-odd at-bats this year.
He bounces up there, and it goes to 1-2 on Milt Thompson. See the 3 RBIs. They were 3 big ones in a game at Houston. A game in which Pete Harnish had no-hit baseball into the 7th inning. Thompson had a 3-run double to give the Phillies a lead that they never relinquished. Oh, there's a good-looking pitch, and it's strike 3 to Thompson. He didn't like it.
Milt Thompson thought it was high, but watch Thompson start, stop, start again, and it caught the outside corner. Good pitch by Frank Castillo, who has settled down. He's given up a couple of long balls, but he still has a 2-run lead.
Back-to-back strikeouts, the only 2 for Castillo here in the 4th inning, and Caviglia bounced to the mound his only time up. Boy, it is such a deep bench for Philadelphia in terms of bats as well. You look down there today, you can bring off Wes Chamberlain, Jim Eisenreich. It's a good hitting team. Up the middle, Vizcaino will field it. Throw on the turf, and it's not in time to get in Caviglia. Good try by Jose Jose Vizcaíno, that's the only way he could get it done.
Incavilla does not run particularly well, but he gets down the line pretty well here. Takes the ball up the middle, and well on the shortstop side of second. Jose tries to bounce it across. A good solid throw, but not in time to get Incavilla chugging down the line.
So now Juan Bell, the younger brother of White Sox slugger George Bell, will settle in. He bounced to Vizcaíno his only time up. Bell has had a tough early going. He's committed a couple of errors. But Jim Fregosi has said he is my everyday shortstop. So they got a young fella you saw a moment ago, Kim Batiste. They also have Mariano Duncan, who gives you a lot more offense.
Well, they're thinking that Juan Bell, who's got a great arm at shortstop, can improve the defense. The Phillies figure they've got enough offense, and if Bell can play a solid shortstop, then they're well ahead of the game, because last year they had some defensive problems. With Morandini has gotten better and better at second. Hollins looking vastly improved at third, and Kruk real good.
Runner goes, and it's fouled off. So Jim Fregosi putting Incavilla in motion. Why not? You have a young hitter who's struggling a little bit, maybe open a hole and get him an easy hit.
Despite the fact that Juan Bell's just 25, he started his professional career back in 1985, so he's been around a while.
Easy play for Vizcaíno. No runs a hit. Phillies leave one. We head for the fifth. Cubs leading it 6-4.
And Sunday, April 16th through the 18th. Plenty of good seats are available. For tickets, stop by the Wrigley Field box office or any Ticketmaster outlet, or charge by phone at 312-831-CUBS.
Well, we begin the fifth inning. Cubs leading Philadelphia 6-4. Mark Grace down a strike to Tommy Green, and he takes a ball outside. Grace, 1 of 2, had a single into right field to begin a 4 consecutive hit party for the Cubs against Ben Rivera. Green will lob it over to Kruk, almost threw it into right field.
One of the reasons why I really hate the lob toss to first base. You might as well just plant your feet, take a good solid step, and throw it across, because when you try to lob it over there, many times you just flip it over the head of the first baseman. And that time Green was fortunate that he didn't throw it over the head of Kruk.
Big day for Derek May. First home run of the year, a 2-run bomb to right center in the third, singled and scored in the second. He went too far for a strike. Well, Derek grew up nearby Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. He always has his family. A lot of friends come in when the Cubs make the trip. And perhaps a bit more fired up. Kruk did he get it? Yes, he did, says the umpire. Says Kruk caught the ball.
Wait a second. He might have caught the ball, but that ball rolled out of his glove. That's got to go as a base hit. No doubt that he had no control of this ball as Derek May splitters his bat, hits it off the end of the bat. And Kruk comes over, and right now he can't get control of it. And I think they're going to call him out, and this is a terrible call if they do.
Well, they have called him out. The umpire clearly signaled Terry Tata that he thought John Kruk caught the ball, which obviously he didn't. May was standing at first. So too was Jose Martinez, and Tata said, "No, young man, you're going back to the dugout."
And Tom, if John Kruk would have caught the ball cleanly, there's no way he'd have been scrambling after the ball to try to make a throw. John Kruk knew that he had no control of the ball and didn't catch it. And this is just a bad call by Terry Tata.
Well, you know what has to bother you here, Stoney? I think Jim Lefevre is clearly saying, why don't you ask Eric Gregg? He had a better look at it than you did, the second base umpire. But Tata has not even asked Eric Gregg to come over for a little bit of help. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Well, we've seen a couple of bad calls early this year, and we'll watch it again. Watch how John Kruk reacts. The ball hit the ground, and John Kruk has no control of this ball, and look at him scrambling after it. And he's still trying to make the throw, and you see the hand of Terry Tata raised, but Bad call by Terry Tata, and he's not going to give up his point. Jim Lefever's not going to give up his point, but Lefever can't possibly win this one.
Well, Lefever's getting very close to being thrown out of here. Tata just turns his back and walks away. And Lefever will do the same thing with Derek May in front of him. And Lefever kicks the dirt as he walks from dirt to turf.
There's no doubt, Tom, from where Tata is, and that's down the first baseline, he can't see this ball, but Eric Gregg can. The ball hits off the turf. Eric Gregg is looking right at the ball, and Terry Tata certainly should have asked for some help.
Well, you see John Kruk. As now Lefever is getting into it with home plate umpire Greg Bonet. But you saw the reaction again on that replay of Kruk slamming the ball to the turf because he couldn't throw the ball, get his balance to the pitcher Tommy Green covering. So he knew he didn't catch it. That's just awful. I mean, not even asking for help.
In fact, the only man who knew that he didn't catch it, or didn't know that he didn't catch it, is the man you're looking at right now.
Well, that is just bad, bad, bad umpiring. And normally we don't like to pick on those guys because they do a great job. But Eric Gregg saw that play a heck of a lot better than Terry Tata, and he wasn't even asked for his second opinion.
Well, if Derek May loses the batting title by one hit, that's going to be a big play.
I remember the play in the 10th inning the other day against Atlanta when the runner was clearly out. At first base, Jeff Blauser. He was ruled safe, and then Ronnie Gant hit the home run. I didn't agree, however, with the fact that the Cubs were blaming that call on the loss. You still got to go retire Ron Gant. He hit one halfway up the screen.
Eric Gregg is looking right at the play, and he can see it perfectly, and yet no help was forthcoming, and he's not going to volunteer any help unless he's asked by Terry Tata.
Sammy at 2-2.
Chuck McElroy is now loosening up in the bullpen. And he'll be nice and ready to go if Frank Castillo needs some help.
Sammy missed by about 1.5 feet from hitting a home run to dead center. It went for a triple. Broken bat. This might drop. It will.
I think that's the one improvement that we've seen on Sammy Sosa this year over last year, Tom, and that is he's getting the bat on the ball on low and away sliders. Last year he would pull off the ball trying to pull everything, and consequently he'd miss that pitch by about 1 foot. This year he's staying right with it. He's not pulling off. He's not trying to hit a home run on every pitch, and the fact that he hit his triple to straightaway center will show you that he's waiting a lot longer, and if he does that, the liveliest bat as he has, he's going to hit a lot of home runs this year and drive in a lot of runs.
Sosa with the only Cubs stolen base on the season. He's 1 for 1, and here's Buechele. Steve bounced into a 6-4-3 double play in the second inning, had an RBI single in the third.
Here's a pretty good running situation for the Cubs if they choose to do that. You don't really have anything lost with Buechele leading off the next inning if Sosa is thrown out. But Dalton has a good quick release, and it's pretty tough to run again.
Juan Bell will go over to first, and the inning is over. 1 hit, 1 left. Middle of the 5th. Still a 6-4 Cubs lead. Talk about getting your hand caught in the cookie jar. Look at this reaction by John Kruk.
He's looking over at the Cub dugout and going, how'd you like that call, boys?
He is something. Jimmy Lefever doesn't find a whole lot of humor in it.
No, he's a man that did not think that was very funny.
Well, John Kruk's a beauty. Well, a pinch hitter for Tommy Green, the man who was originally in today's starting lineup, Chicago native Wes Chamberlain, but he was about 2.5 hours late getting to the ballpark today for whatever reason. And he smokes it into right field, caught by Sosa. Chamberlain hit it hard.
That is a fine play by Sammy Sosa, who feels very comfortable in right field. Chamberlain hits this fastball right on the button, but fortunately it carries right to Sosa, who catches it waist high.
Tommy Green, very solid relief work. Went 2 2/3, allowed a hit, and picked up a strikeout. Dykstra has walked and fly to left.
Dennis Menke, talking about Len Dykstra, talking about his hitting style, said that Dykstra can do pretty much whatever he wants to do at bat. There are times he'll look for a specific pitch. In those instances, he can pull the ball with the best of them. Other times, he just tries to poke the ball to left or left center field. But he's a big on-base percentage guy. He will take a walk.
And he drives this one to right. Might have a chance. Sosa at the wall. Goodbye. On cue, Stoney. You talked about looking for the pitch to drive, and he did right out of here.
Lenny Dykstra's right on top of the plate, and when he wants to turn on the ball, he can do it, and that's going to bring Jim Lefebvre out from the dugout. As we take a look at Dykstra, looking for the ball out over the plate, and he pulls it out of the park. And that's going to be it for Frank Castillo, who quite obviously did not have his stuff today. He does leave with a one-run lead, although he can't win this game, and the game is squarely in the hands of Chuck McElroy, who's coming into this one.
All right, so a break in the action. Cubs clinging to a 6-5 lead. 1 out, nobody on, back in a flash.
Controversial? Probably. Different? Absolutely. I know you're gonna dig No Bull. Every week with Phil Jackson, plus the hot shots and loose cannons of the NBA. Less bull, more bulls. It's the show they'll be talking about Monday morning, so you better be there Sunday night. No Bull with Phil Jackson. Sunday night at 10 on Channel 9. In order to recognize outstanding high school students, Channel 9, Walgreens, and Lewis University present the Extra Effort Award. This week we salute Victor Washington of Emerson School of Visual and Performing Arts. Victor is valedictorian of his senior class. He's also an accomplished musician. And as a world-class roller skating competitor, Victor has received several medals for his unique style. This Extra Effort Award was brought to you by Walgreens and Lewis University, for kids' sake.
5 home runs in the game comes Chuck McElroy.
Chuck McElroy had a very good year last year, but he had a tough September. All in all, 4-7, the ERA .355. He did make 72 appearances, so he was a durable fellow for the Cubs. Got a good fastball. He's a former Philadelphia Philly, came over in the Mitch Williams trade. And he finds himself with a 1-run lead with the second man in the order, Mickey Morandini, and a very powerful Philly offense. And we've seen a good portion of it today. So although Frank Castillo did not throw particularly well, with a right-hander facing this Philadelphia team, he's not going to be the last pitcher that this offense jumps on.
No. Mickey Morandini settling in. There you see Castillo. 4 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs. 3 of the 5 hits were of the long ball variety. 3-run homer by Dalton in the first. Solo home runs by Kruk in the third, and Dykstra here in the fifth. 6 runs will not win this game. You can book it.
You could pretty much figure that out when it was 6-3, because this team will put some big numbers on the board, and especially against a right-hand pitcher. When you have to try to retire Kruk and Dalton, of course, Hollins is a switch hitter, but you got Dykstra and Morandini, all much more effective against a right-hand pitcher. They can cause you a lot of headaches.
Good cut there by Morandini on a 3-1 fastball, and the count goes full. Kruk waits on deck. Hit into right center. It'll drop for a hit. Wilson over to cut it off. Morandini going to hold about halfway around the bag.
Morandini came up as an out man from the minor leagues, but he gotten better and better as a hitter by using that big, heavy bat and choking up on it. And he turned the McElroy fastball and drove it into right center field.
So now you get to the teeth of this Philadelphia order. Kruk, Hollins, Dalton. Morandini the tying run over at first. Cubs leading 6-5. Bottom of the 5th with one man out. Morandini, pretty decent runner. Not blazing speed, but he'll get anywhere if he plays regularly, 15 to 20. He had 13 in 91 in only 98 games. Luchelle on for one, throw to first, and Kruk beat it out.
Not much of a chance of a double play here, and Morandini trying everything he can to break it up as Kruk taps the ball to the left side. You watch Morandini, he really can't get too much of a piece of Vizcaino. Does a good job of keeping the bag between himself and Morandini, kind of using it as a buffer and getting off a good throw. Now you've got to face Hollins, and this is his strong side. He's a natural right-hand hitter.
Ball one in the dirt, blocked nicely by Wilkins. Hollins last year, when he had 27 homers, hit 17 of them against left-handed pitching, batting right-handed.
Well, Dennis Menke, the hitting instructor, said that as a right-hand hitter, Hollins can just muscle the ball out of the park. He doesn't have to get it all to hit a home run. He's that strong. Left-handed, he uses his hands more and really needs a perfect swing to hit a home run. So McElroy has got to be careful.
2-0. Phillies 3 in the first. Cubs tied it with 3 in the second. Cubs took a 6-3 lead with a 3 spot in the third. Single runs for the Phils in the bottom of the third and here in the last of the 5th. And now it's 3-0 on Hollins with Dalton waiting.
And I would think that Jim Fregosi is going to give Dave Hollins the 3-0 go. If he gets anything to his liking, preferably middle of the plate in, he will probably have the privilege of swinging away. And with that in mind, Larry Boa well out of the coach's box down the third base line. Not wanting to get near any vicious line drives down that way.
Yep, he had it. Fouled it off. And it looked like ball 4.
Pretty good pitch for McElroy. He kept it out away from Hollins. And just because you have the 3-0 green light doesn't mean you should swing at anything. And that's where Hollins made a mistake, because if he gets it in play, it's a fly ball to right field. That's not a pitch that he can drive.
He went for ball 4 there on the high heat and couldn't get it. So Hollins helping the cause of McElroy here. You see a 1-run game in the last of the 5th. Struck him out, and that's the inning. Phillies get one more on a couple of hits, leave a runner on. We head for the 6th. Cubs in front, 6-5. On Channel 9, Chicago's very own Channel 9. Bulls trying to catch the New York Knicks. New pitcher for Philadelphia, number 3 on the day, former Cardinal Jose De Leon.
Jose De Leon pitched for both St. Louis and Philadelphia last year and didn't have much luck either place. De Leon has got a good forkball at times. He's got exceptional stuff. But he's had his problems in the major league.
2-0 to Wilkins. De Leon is making his 2nd appearance. He's already picked up a win in relief. And he did it by throwing just a 1/3 of an inning. He hit a batter, walked a batter, but got the win in a come-from-behind victory against Houston.
Last year for St. Louis, De Leon 2-7 with a 4.57 ERA and 15 starts of his 29 appearances. Coming over to Philadelphia at 0-1 with a 3-point ERA, only appeared in 3 games for the Phillies.
3-1 now to Rick Wilkins. He'll be followed by Vizcaino. And we'll see if McElroy bats. Apparently he will, because there's no activity in the Cub bullpen. De Leon, probably one of the hardest guys in Major League Baseball to figure out. His stats year in and year out. Right-handed batters have a career average of 190 against him. That's second lowest against any pitcher since '75, behind J.R. Richard. See if Hollins has a play. Nope, can't get it.
But left-handers have worn him out because he's been a 19-game loser twice. That despite Tommy having pretty good earned run averages year after year and averaging just about 8 strikeouts per 9 innings over the course of his major league career. So here is a mystery man. Jim Donald, the head of Tribune Broadcasting, sitting there with Charlie Brumback, who runs the Cubs.
Bruck will go to the bag, beat Wilkins there, 1 up, 1 down. De Leon's career record, 76 and 113. It's the second lowest winning percentage among pitchers with 150 more decisions. And like we said, it's amazing because the guy, you talk to batters and they don't want to face him.
Certainly not right-handers, because when he's on, he's got an excellent curveball and a good forkball. I think the Phillies are going to use him right, Tom. They're going to use him out of the bullpen. They've got their starting rotation pretty well set. And one time through, De Leon's as tough as anybody. Where he had his problems was never early in the game. He would blow through the first rotation, sometimes the second in the batting order, and then have some problems later on. He's not going to have to do that as a relief pitcher. You're going to get one look at him, and that's going to be about it.
In fact, De Leon, as a starter last year, never reached the 8th inning. So that illustrates what you're talking about. Vizcaíno, a 3-run home run, his second home run as a major leaguer. The other came August 1st of last year against New York's Tom Filer. He hit that ball pretty darn good back in the second inning down the right field line. 3-2 count. Cubs leading at 6-5. We're in the 6th. Popped up and out of play. Our next telecast here on WGN coming your way tomorrow night. Get it underway with a leadoff man at 6. And there you see the probables. The ace of each staff. Morgan, a loser in Game 1 when he was blanked by Greg Maddux. Mulholland, a winner in Game 1, going the distance in a Philadelphia win over Houston.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Chicago National League Ball Club, which has a right of approval of the announcers and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Chicago National League Ball Club is prohibited.
McElroy can hit a little bit, and he goes up there swinging.
McElroy is by far the best hitting Cub pitcher. There's not much doubt about that, and he's not going to get cheated on his swing.
As a batter, 4 of 6 last season with 2 doubles and a triple. Comes up empty on 3 straight here. De Leon, a perfect 6th. We go to the bottom of the inning. It's still a Cub 1-run lead. Steve Stone, our producer director Arnie Harris. Cubs leading 6-5. It'll be Dalton, Thompson, and Cavilla against reliever Chuck McElroy. Dalton, a 3-run home run in the first. He struck out against Castillo, leading off the 4th.
Kind of surprised, Tom. You know, Jim Fregosi knows that the Cubs have 4 left-handed relievers, and yet he pinch hit with Wes Chamberlain and took him out of the game and left Milt Thompson in the game, ensuring that Thompson's going to have to face the left-handed relief corps. It would seem a lot more practical to let Chamberlain stay in the ball game and let him face the left-hander.
Dalton couldn't catch up with a McElroy fastball. It's 2-2.
David West now loosening up in the bullpen. They've got some size in this pitching staff.
And this whole team. It's one of the biggest teams I've ever seen.
We've got Rivera, who started at 6'6", followed by Tommy Green at 6'5". You've got 6'6" David West in the bullpen. Large fellow.
De Leon 6'3". Dalton out of there on strikes. McElroy is fan 2. And here comes Milt Thompson.
Kurt Schilling at 6'4". Danny Jackson 6'3". Terry Mulholland, the shrimp of the group, at just 6'2". It is a king-size pitching staff.
And there are a few guys in the lineup that are put together as well. Bruck, a big guy. Hollins is just a monster. So too is Dalton. Thompson really put together. Incaviglia waits on deck. Wouldn't be the ideal team to get in a little rumble with.
That's what Dennis Menke was saying. If there is a fight, he's already picked out the 4 or 5 guys he's going to stand behind.
Oh, good heat there by McElroy.
McElroy looks like he's getting that fastball up there today. Easily 93, 94 miles an hour.
2-2 to Milt Thompson. Count is full. Stoney mentioned earlier, McElroy coming over from the Philly organization along with Bob Scanlon in the Mitch Williams trade. Foul ball. While we have a chance, let's sneak out for a station ID. This is the Chicago Cubs television network.
This is WGN-TV Chicago, America's #1 sports station.
Back in the birthplace of America, Philadelphia Veterans Stadium, the Phillies. And the home troops trailing the Cubs 6. 3-2 pitch. McElroy in 89 and
Incaviglia, who had a surprising year. And like Milt Thompson, Lee Thomas, the general manager. Situation. You know, Tom, and he did it without really going into the cash box to spend a lot of money on free agents. He got the second line free agents and built a ball club with the payroll in mind. He doesn't have a horribly expensive team here, but he does have a good one.
You know, they did the same thing the year before by acquiring a second-line guy who's a very productive player in Mariano Duncan. Eisenreich, another one over this past winter. I think Thomas has done a great job. Toronto in the 8th inning leading Cleveland 5-2 over in the American League. Give you a White Sox score if we can find one here in a minute. 1-1 pitch, and again it's high and away.
Rick Wilkins out to have a quick word with Chuck McElroy. I'm having a hard time figuring out why Kansas City let go of Jim Eisenreich. He hit .269 last year. It's not like Kansas City has an abundance of hitting, because if the Royals have one problem this year, and they've gotten off once again to a bad start at 0-3, it's the fact that they just don't hit the baseball very much. And Eisenreich had a great spring with Philadelphia, and they think that he's going to fit right into the middle of the bench. Be a good left-handed bat coming off that bench.
And Incaviglia thinking long ball again. It's 2-2. Understand the White Sox are trailing in their home opener 7-5 to the Yankees. Bo Jackson has hit a home run for the Sox. Good for him. There goes Thompson. And it's a swing and a miss for strike 3. But the throw is into center field, and Thompson will come on to third, representing the tying run. Now, it looked to me like Incaviglia kind of leaned across the plate, making the throw Wilkins that much harder. Let's watch it again, and watch Incaviglia here. He swings at a changeup low and away. And right there leans across the plate, and I'm surprised that Wilkins didn't get an appeal from Greg Bonet, because when you fall across the plate, impede the catcher in any way, you can get an interference call, and yet nothing was said. When you saw the replay, you see Incaviglia not only bringing his bat back at Wilkins, but then falling across the plate. So here's Juan Bell. He is 0 for 10 this season. Tying runners at third. And Bell fouls it off Wilkins' face mask.
And that is the first error of the year for the Chicago Cubs. And unfortunately, it came on what looked like a somewhat impeded throw.
Outfield playing. Bell is an opposite field hitter. There's a big hole in left center. Good pickup there by Wilkins.
Now, Juan Bell, unlike Hollins, is a natural right-hand hitter like Hollins, but he's a better left-hand hitter than a right-hand hitter. Chuck McElroy is certainly hoping that that holds up.
Mentioned Bell without a hit this season, and he's behind a McElroy at a ball and 2 strikes. Ricky Jordan, another lethal right-handed bat, waits on deck for the Phillies. I'm a little surprised Bell's batting here.
I am also, especially with the power they have off the bench for Philadelphia.
2-2 now to Juan Bell.
But it still is relatively early, and when you do have the kind of punch the Phillies have, you figure to score a few runs the last 3 innings, and I think that Jim Fregosi wants to give this man a little confidence if he can. If he pulls him out in all of these situations, eventually the guy starts to feel that he's not going to be asked to step up and drive in the big run.
2-2 delivery. And he got him swinging to end the inning. McElroy fans aside. No runs, no hits. An error, a man left at third. Harry back in the 7th, still a 1-run Cub lead.
Brenneman, as we go into the top of the 7th, here's Willie Wilson to lead it off. 6-5, the Cubs hold a precarious lead of 1. Wilson, nothing out of 3 so far. That evens a count, a ball and a strike. Around 60,000 people on hand. Swung in the middle. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You have the feeling you've got to make some more runs in order to have a chance to win this ball game. The pitch. A high pop foul might be playable. Nope. A fan reached over the railing. I think maybe Hollins could have caught the ball.
Well, the umpire has, in his discretion, the ability to award the out if he thought the fan interfered. Cubs do get a break as the fan leans well out into the field of play to stop Hollins from catching that one.
You know, that's a Philadelphia fan. That can't rule that he'd be interfering with the Philly player. They could hardly call that. He wanted a souvenir, that fan. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Base hit. Extra bases. You'll get at least 2. He might try for 3. Hold up.
This is the only ballpark in the National League, and Boston in the American League, where on a ball down the line, the second baseman or shortstop, depending on which line, has got to go out to make a play. Because of the angle of the outfield stands, you see the ball bounces back after it hits this point. And Morandini has got to go back and get it. Really no chance for Incaviglia. Morandini holds him at second, and the Cubs trying to get a little insurance in a not too comfortable 1-run situation.
And the Cubs get a bad break because of the configuration of the wall down there, because of that ball rolled into the corner. With Willie Wilson's speed, he would have had at least 3. So now nobody out, a man in scoring position. Curveball low and outside. Sanchez up there in the bunt.
David West once again, the tall left-hander, loosening up in the Philadelphia bullpen.
Is that the West the Mets once had?
Yes, the one who was originally traded to Minnesota, I believe, and really hasn't found a spot to pitch since.
There's the ball, bunted. Whoa, he doesn't get to third. And DeLeon didn't even look at Willie Wilson. The ball, Wilson thought he'd be running into an out at third base.
This ball is bunted too much toward De Leon, and he gets off the mound in a hurry. And you see Darren Dalton, he's got the play in front of him. He knows that Wilson is not breaking, and he yells out for De Leon to go to first base. And that's why De Leon didn't turn, and that's going to be it for De Leon. And on comes David West as Jim Fregosi is going to flip-flop his batting order, and Juan Bell's going to leave the game, as is De Leon, and on comes West and probably Kim Batiste or Mariano Duncan.
Mariano Duncan, I can't understand why he isn't playing every day. But I guess there's a reason. All right, we'll be back with more following this message.
In order to...
outstanding prospect when he was with the New York Mets. A big, tall left-hander takes over.
West had a tough year last year. He was in Portland most of the year, where he was 7-6 with a 4.43 ERA and 18 starts. Then he came up to Minnesota, where he went 1-3 with a whopping ERA of 6.99 in 3 starts out of his 9 appearances. Came over here now to Philadelphia, where he is in the middle of this bullpen, and he inherits Willie Wilson at second base. This is his second appearance this year for West. And he's got 1 out here in the 7th inning, trying to hold the Cubs at bay.
Boy, he's a big man. From Memphis, Tennessee, 29 years old, stands 6'6", 240 pounds. West figured in the deal for Rick Aguilera to the Minnesota Twins for Frank Viola, remember? Aguilera's still a outstanding relief pitcher for the Twins. And here's Grace. One ball, no strikes. Unfortunately, Sanchez's bunt wasn't a good one. Big run to pick up. Top of the 7th. Ball 2. And coming up next, Derek May, who hit a 2-run homer in the 3rd, singled in the 2nd, lined out in the 5th. A disputed play where everybody in the ballpark saw Kruk had not caught the ball, except the first base umpire, Terry Tata. And the Fever, all he wanted Tata to do was ask one of the other umpires. There's a strike ball. 2 balls and a strike. West. Looks like he's put on a few pounds as he's gotten a little older. Doesn't everybody? 2 balls and a strike. Whoa, almost a wild pitch. Great save by Darren Dalton.
Darren Dalton has gotten better and better defensively. He had such bad knees that he really couldn't move to either side. But the last couple of years, he's been entirely healthy. And watch the mobility. He's out, keeping his ball well in front of him and able to stop it from going to the screen and doing something that the Cubs couldn't do with the Sanchez bunt, and that's moving Wilson along to third base.
Wilson a good lead. Mariano Duncan behind him. Fouled it out of play in the left field corner. 3-2. Mark didn't have a very good swing at that one. Against the Phillies, he's hit fairly well. 281 with 4 homers. Three balls, 2 strikes. Ball 4. And runners are at first and second.
Mark Grace had a real good look at that pitch. That was a curveball down, and normally most left-hand hitters probably be swinging at that one, but Grace, a very good eye, a lot of patience at the plate, just followed that ball down and out of the strike zone and took the walk.
Here now, Derek May, 2 out of 3, facing the left-hander. There's a drive, way back, it might be, it could be, holy cow, it is a home run. Oh, did he ever cream that tomato? And the Cubs now lead 9-5. Wow, what a day for Derek May.
Not much doubt about that, as Derek May's driven in 5 on 2 home runs. He's 3 for 4 and should be 4 for 4. And Jim Fregosi probably can't believe that Derek May, who hit just 8 home runs last year, is just coming alive as a power hitter in the National League, because he got every bit of that. I mean, just absolutely crushed it.
Watch this. Right at the knees, and he got it all. Now, can we get a picture of Billy Williams? The happiest man in that dugout's got to be Billy, because he's been working with Derek May since last year. There.
Billy had a few like that in his day, Harry.
Yeah.
And he probably hasn't enjoyed any of his as much as he's enjoying his star pupil, Derek May, who had a 2 home run game against the Phillies here.
There's Billy.
On June 19th of last year. So that's the last and the only 2 homer game of Derek May's career until today.
Wow, what a... Was that ball ever creamed?
And Montgomery Ward is very happy to donate another $300 to Cubs Care as the Cub bats booming this afternoon.
Derek talking to Dwight Smith there, both laughing. Dwight, you can bet on Dwight saying something funny. Nine to 5 in favor of the Cubs. Ball outside.
You know, Harry, that was a good confidence builder. Not that he hit a home run, the fact that he was allowed to face a left-hand pitcher in this situation and not give way to Candy Maldonado.
Yeah. Ball outside. 3-2 on Sammy Sosa, who's 2 out of 2. A walk, a triple, a run scored, and a base hit. Struck him out on a fastball. Sosa makes his second out of the inning, and here's Steve Buechele. 9-5, the Cubs in the road opener at Philadelphia, facing the previously unbeaten Phillies, who swept the 3-game series at Houston. They beat Drayback, Swindell, and Harnish. 3 of their 3 best pitchers. Hey, listen, if you're going to the racetrack tonight, Arnie, bet the 3 hearts.
You didn't say if, did you?
3 for the Phillies in the first, 3 for the Cubs in the second, 3 for the Cubs in the third, 3 for the Cubs in the seventh. And I'll guarantee if you do that, your horse will finish third. There they are. Looks pretty good. And the 3 big big men from the Tribune are on hand, too, talking about threes. There they are, Charlie. There's Jim Dowdle, Charlie Broomback, and Stanton Cook. Curve, strike three. So, Derek May drives into 3 runs with a 3-run homer. There were 2 hits, no errors, and nobody left. We go into the bottom of the 7th, and Cubs lead 9-5.
Offense, and Assenmacher making his 2nd appearance of the year. He's thrown an inning and a third, walked 1, fanned 1, given up no runs. And he's got to lead it off with Mariano Duncan, who came into the flip-flop batting order that Jim Fregosi used when he brought in David West.
Castillo pitched 4 in the 3rd innings, allowed 5 hits, 5 runs, walked 2, fanned 2. McElroy, 1 2/3 innings, no runs, 1 hit, 1 walk, fanned 4. And now Assenmacher. And here's Mariano Duncan, who came in with their double switch to play shortstop. Assenmacher. Veteran left-hander, appearing in his 2nd game this year. He was in 70 of them last year.
Mariano Duncan, while a member of the Los Angeles Dodgers, played around with switch hitting, but the last couple of years he's just been a right-hand hitter and an effective one.
Swings and he misses. The Cubs 9 runs on 10 hits. Struck him out. Duncan goes down swinging. That's 4 strikeouts in the last inning of the 3rd. 3 by McElroy and now 1 by Assenmacher. You know, the Cubs today in 7 innings have scored more runs than Atlanta and the Cubs put together scored in 3 games in Chicago, compositely speaking. There's a curveball in there. Atlanta won 1-0. The Cubs won 1-0. Atlanta won 3-2.
5-4.
5-4 make that. Now the pitch. There's a fly ball. On the run, Willie Wilson. Sam Sosa. Or was Willie Wilson? Willie Wilson's still out there in center field. Sosa stays in right. And Derek May, of course, still in left.
Fine play by Willie Wilson. He gets a good jump on this ball that's slicing away from him and just runs it down. And despite the 37-year-old legs, Willie Wilson can still go get him in the alley.
And he started the big 7th inning. There's a ground ball up the middle. Boy, we can't get that Mickey Morandini out. That's his 2nd hit. 2 out of 4. He lined into a double play in the 3rd and hit the ball deep to left center to Derek May in the 1st.
Here's a man who really doesn't care much if there's a right-hander or a left-hander on the mound. As long as he throws a baseball, John Kruk is going to hit it hard somewhere. He's just a quality hitter, and he never gets cheated.
Now ready? Oh, I tell you. It's a puzzle watching the way he stands, how you could pitch him. I think you're right, but the only chance you got is to pitch him all over.
Well, you have to. He's too good a hitter, Harry. If he picks up a pattern, you're dead.
There's a strike. He looked dead on that one. He was fooled. 0-2.
Now, what you don't want to see here is Assenmacher using a setup pitch, which would be a high, tight fastball to Kruk. Because if he's looking for it, he's going to get a good swing. I'd say with the curveball low and away and maybe getting him, expanding his strike zone and get him out.
Now look at that stance. Now, he's got an open stance, and he wades in with that front foot even before the pitcher throws the ball. little bbit outside, aiming for that corner, couldn't get it there.
Assenmacher wants to get the curveball down because the curveball up around Feld high to Kruk is the danger zone to him because he'll just follow it straight across and wrap it into left center.
There's a curveball in there, strike 3 call. He found him backing away. So 2 strikeouts for Assenmacher. 1 hit, no runs, 1 left. At the end of 7, the Cubs lead 9-5. Back in the vet in Philadelphia. Remember, later on tonight, WGN continues with its sports coverage as the Bulls play the Atlanta Hawks at 6:30 Chicago time. And then tomorrow at 6 o'clock Chicago time, the Cubs and the Phillies here at the vet. Here's Wilkins to lead it off. Swung. Boy, this West is a big kid. They had him ready to go into the Hall of Fame, and they made that deal and surprised a lot of people. They say that's what Minnesota really wanted, was West more than Aguilera.
I think that's the case, Harry, of what the Mets have done so well over the years, and the Dodgers used to do so very well. They pump up their farmhands so much and get them such good reputations that when they go to make a trade, they get more value for the young kids than they normally would for somebody on their roster. That was the example of going out, trading 4 pitchers for Frank Viola. And, of course, the star turned out to be Aguilera, who was on the Major League team, and West really never panned out for Minnesota.
And there's no doubt about it. The Dodgers, for years, have operated on that theory, and it worked for them. Boy, no matter who you meet in their organization, they keep telling you about some kid at Albuquerque.
Remember, Greg Brock was going to be all everything at Albuquerque, and
then Stubbs, Franklin
Stubbs, another guy that was all everything. They had a lot of all everythings at Albuquerque, but somehow when they got to the major leagues, although they become decent players, they never really reached the stardom level that was predicted for them.
So Wilkins, having struck out, Vizcaíno is behind on the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Let's see, we have to get through Hollins, Dalton, and Thompson. Incavilla, pinch hitter for the pitcher, and Duncan before this game will be over. Swung and he missed. Struck him out.
Well, apparently that long home run by Derek May aggravated David West because after the long ball, he struck out 4 in a row.
Are you sure that's the same Vizcaíno who hit the 3-run homer to tie the ball game in the second inning?
One and the same. Boom, boom, Vizcaíno.
He popped up and struck out twice since. There's Assenmacher. I don't know about Assenmacher facing a left-handed pitcher. I think he's going to say goodbye if the pitch is anywhere near. Well, he's ahead on the count. 2 balls, no strikes. 2 men out. Ball 3. How about that? Yeah.
Paul was almost in the on-deck circle when that last pitch was thrown. So he's going to probably back out of there when this one is thrown.
Strike call.
Think he's giving him some room to hit the plate?
Strike 2. 3 and 2, 2 out. 8th inning. The Cubs lead 9-5. After the Phillies got away to a 3-run lead. Hey, there's our base hit. How about that? Paul Assenmacher singles the center. How can anybody talk about his hitting?
We're going to take a look and see how many Assenmacher's gotten. It can't be too many.
No, I know it isn't.
Actually, Harry, 34 at-bats, 2 hits. That's awful, 0-59, but he now has his 3rd hit. And his last hit came April 21st of 1991 at Pittsburgh against Neil Heaton.
Willie Wilson John Crux having fun with Asemacher. In 1992, last year, he only batted 4 times. Strike call. His career, 3 out of 35 now.
He's jumped up to 086, Harry, so he's put a lot of points on his batting average with that base hit. And Tyler Green loosening up in the bullpen.
David West. A little bit outside. The pitcher of record, though, is Ben Rivera, who started this ball game for the Phillies. It cannot be Frank Castillo because he didn't go 5 innings. Wild pitch going into the dugout. There's Asemacher. He's going to stop at second. He could have advanced to third, but he's got another 2 innings to pitch, perhaps.
And warming up with the bullpen, Tyler Green is the phenom that the Phillies picked #1, 10th overall in the June 1991 draft. They say he has just an exceptional knuckle curveball. And the only thing that stopped Tyler Green is the fact that he's had a lot of arm problems over the course of his career. But his numbers in the minor leagues are staggering. 120 ERA, 130, and 188. First couple of years at 3 different levels in the Philly system.
Fouled it off. 9-5 Cubs. McElroy won 4, lost 7 for the Cubs last year. A pitcher of record right now. Sharply hit. Mariano Duncan has it. Over the first to retire the side. So we go into the bottom of the 8th. The Cubs lead 9-5. Into the bottom of the 8th. Paul Asemacher in his 2nd inning of work. McElroy, the pitcher of record as of now. And here's Dave Holland, who struck out against McElroy to end the 5th. You know, Castillo fan 2, McElroy fan 4, and Asemacher's fan 2. So 8 of the Phillies have gone down swinging. All ready? Fouls it off. Had a good swing. Hollins is switch hitter.
Outfield playing Hollins very deep and swung around toward left center field because Hollins is a pull hitter from the right side. There you see Willie Wilson, left field side of second base.
Bill Bob Wickham, who the Cubs traded along with Melito Perez, who the White Sox traded for Melito Perez, and Domingo Jean. Wickham and those guys were in the White Sox organization. They traded them to the Yankees for Steve Sachs. And apparently that deal's not turning out as well as the White Sox hoped. Wickham last year won 6, lost 1 for the Yankees. Base hit. Hollins singles sharply in the center field. Here's Dalton. He hit a 3-run homer in the first, fanned the next 2 times. Boy, remember the games we've had here the last few years, Steve.
I'm trying not to, Harry, because the Phillies have a tendency to come back late. And they've got the offensive firepower to do that, so Asemacher's got to make some good pitches.
Fastball inside. I can't tell whether there's any action in the Cub bullpen. Hollins a lead. Ball 2. There's Tony Muser, the bullpen coach, standing up without a jacket. Ooh, he had a good cut. Boy, you can see why he hits home runs. He's gotten so he gets everything into the swing he takes. And a fine defensive catcher beside. There it goes. Way back. It might be. It could be. It is Dalton. Another home run. Boy, he's amazing. He is batted in 5 runs. And now it's 9-7.
Dalton hits his third. He now has driven in 7 runs in the Phillies' 4 games. And he took that powering drive over the right field wall. And we talked about the Phillies' propensity for coming back. He's got the 60,000 fans on their feet. And the Phillies pull it in 2. This looks like a hanging curveball from Paul Assenmacher. Right out over the plate, and Darren Dalton wheeled on it.
Here now is Milt Thompson. 1 strike to nothing. The Cubs lead is cut to 2. High fly ball will be caught. Willie Wilson. He has it. 1 away. Here's Pete Incaviglia. Last year, the most home runs he had hit previously in a major league season was 12. Last year he hit 27 and drove in 109. And so far this year, he's away to a great start.
Ricky Jordan in the on-deck circle. He's going to come on to hit for David West, and that'll bring Tyler Green into the game.
In 4 games that the Phillies have played, Dalton has hit 3 home runs. And he now has driven in 7 runs. Swings and he misses. What he signed, $18 million for 4 years?
$18 million.
They got a bargain.
Well, as far as catchers are concerned, Harry, he's about the best of the bunch.
Randy Myers getting ready. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. 2 are in. That ought to be easy. And he's out. Hey, Incaviglia runs pretty good for a big man.
Gets down the line in a hurry, and we saw that in the 4th inning, Harry, when he beat out a base hit and then tried to steal a base to the very next hitter.
There's Ricky Jordan coming out to pinch hit. Jordan. He's 1 out of 1 for the year as a pinch hitter. It's only his 2nd trip. 2 out, 2 in.
Unfortunately for the Phillies, Jordan, the first baseman, has got no place to play with John Kruk, the everyday player.
Curveball inside. I tell you, it's a real tribute to Dalton that he hit a home run off of Assenmacher, who's got one of the better curveballs for a left-hand hitter in baseball. But Dalton had to be looking for it.
Well, it also hung over the inner portion of the plate, Harry, and quite a day for Derek May and Darren Dalton. Both have hit 2 home runs. Both have 5 runs driven in.
Base hit. Jordan singles to left. And this brings up a good hitter. Mariano Duncan struck out his first time up. That was against Assenmacher. There's a fever coming out. Never an easy day for the Cubs.
Dalton has now hit 2 home runs in 4 different games, Harry, and 3 of those games have come against the Chicago Cubs. The other one against the Houston Astros, and here comes Randy Myers to do what the Cubs got him to do, and that's save the ball game.
All right, we'll have more for you following this message. He's with the Chicago Cubs.
Look at the numbers last year. 38 saves for Randy Myers. There's his career against the Phillies, and it's most impressive. 16 saves, a 4-1 record, ERA of 2.01, and this is his 31st appearance against them. Got a runner at first, 2 outs here in the 8th inning, so if he does pick up the save, it'll be an inning in the 3rd save. And Randy Myers on for the 2nd time. He picked up an inning in the final Atlanta game, gave up 1 hit, didn't give up any runs. And the first man he's going to be asked to face is Mariano Duncan.
Duncan, a good hitter. A right-handed hitter. 2 runs are in on Darren Dalton's 2nd home run of the game. He started the scoring for the Phillies with a 3-run homer in the 1st, and so far he has ended it with a 2-run homer in the 8th. 1 ball, no strike. A runner at first, 2 outs. The low ball, 2. As hard as Myers throws, if you connect, it might go out of the ballpark. Ball 3. No strike. Lenny Dykstra next. Strike called over the outside corner. Chuck McElroy, hoping it ends this way. He's the winner so far. Grounded out of play. Let's show Jose Guzman in the dugout. He's celebrating his 30th birthday today. He'll pitch tomorrow evening for the Cubs. They'll make that. He's going to pitch not tomorrow, Sunday. Bouncing ball. Nice play by Sanchez, and he's out at first. Stefano Morgan is pitching tomorrow. All right. 2 runs. 3 hits. No errors. 1 left at the end of 8. The Cubs 9, the Phillies 7, and 85. That's about 500 more than was here last year. Swung and a miss.
It's a pretty good opportunity for Jim Lefebvre to use the hit and run. Mark Grace, not exceptionally fast, but does make some contact. And maybe Lefebvre will wait down in the count and send Sanchez.
Throw to first.
Starting to cloud up here in Philly as the storm that was predicted. Probably still a while away yet, but it is darkening up somewhat.
This is Tyler Green's first major league appearance. Ball low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nobody out, a runner on. Cubs leading 9-7. Billy Connors, Tom Trebelhorn, just going down the line. There's a drive, way back. It might be, it could be, it is a home run for Mark Grace. And the Cubs lead 11-7. And if you're headed for Vegas, those are the numbers you want to see coming up. 7 and 11. 7 for the Phillies. We don't mind them having 7 as long as the Cubs have the 11. And Grace, his first home run of the year.
Mark now has driven in 4 runs this year. The Cubs added their lead, and Montgomery Ward having an expensive day, donating another $200 to Cubs Care as Mark Grace hits it far enough, hoping it'll stay fair. Terry Tata makes the call, and it is fair and gone.
And here's the guy who's made a habit of hitting him today. Derek May hit one with 1 on in the 3rd, with 2 on in the 7th. The Cubs have 4 homers. One by Vizcaíno with 2 on. And that was an important blow because they were trailing 3-0 then. That tied it up. Tyler Green, 23-year-old youngster.
Right now he has an infinite earned run average in the major leagues. 2 hitters, 2 runs, and no innings.
This is outside. He attended Wichita State University. There's a strikeout. Larry Himes thought the Cubs would hit more homers this year than they did a year ago. It remains to be seen if he's a prophet. But they certainly banged out of it today with 4 of them. 2 by Derek May, 1 by Mark Grace, and 1 by Jose Vizcaíno. Fouled it back.
And none have been solo home runs, Harry. They've all been with at least 1 man aboard.
Yeah, everybody hit one with at least 1 on. Vizcaíno with 2 on, May first one with 1 on, second one with 2 on, and now Grace with 1 on. That's making a lot of runs with 1 swing of the bat. Another base on ball.
Johnny Padres now coming out to settle down his young right-hander who's faced 3 hitters, walked 2, gave up the blast, and still has yet to retire a major league hitter.
Let's pause here for station identification.
This is WGN-TV Chicago, America's #1 sports station.
Look at the empty seat. Harry Carey and Steve Stone. Steve paid attendance $60,985.
A lot of them in the parking lot right now.
Or in the saloon, drinking over the sorrow of the score, but it's not over yet. However, the Cubs lead 11-7.
Is this the same team that could hardly get the ball out of the infield against the Braves?
It's not the same pitching against them as the Braves.
No, it's not.
The pitch. Boy, that'll give you an idea how great that starting rotation is. Tommy Glavine pitched a bad ball game last night. He won 6-1.
He gave up a run, and that's depressing if you're an Atlanta starter.
A high foul. Foul going to be playable by Kruk. 1 out. Sammy fouled to John Kruk. And John Kruk could pass for Babe Ruth. He should have played the lead, not Goodman, in the Babe Ruth story.
He certainly looked a lot better swinging the bat than John Goodman.
Two runs are in, a runner on, 1 out. Here's Steve Buechele. A little bit inside. Boy, I'll bet you half the people who are here have left. Well, it's about 6 o'clock. Trying to check his swing, foul the pitch. Boy, I can hear these talk shows they have here in Philadelphia already.
Well, the one thing that Jim Fregosi knew coming in this year, Harry, was he'd score a lot of runs, but he would also give up a lot of runs. And nothing that's happened today has done anything to change his mind.
Pitch inside. Boy, Darren Dalton, who had such a great season a year ago, starting out with a greater one this year. Line drive, base hit. Bouchel gets his second hit, a single to center. And here's Rick Wilkins, who hasn't had a hit this year, 0 for 10.
Well, this is a good man to get it against because Tyler Green struggling with his control. Probably will be trying to get a fastball over the plate. Maybe Rick can take advantage of it and hit the 5th Cub home run.
Swung and he missed. They're throwing a lot of low breaking balls. Rick Wilkins. Wilkins, 25-year-old receiver. Swung and he missed. He's fanned twice. He's looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 10 in the new season. There's the pitch a little low. Rhino. There he is, his left hand in a little cast. It's the first time they haven't missed him this year.
Well, they had somewhat of a setback, Gary. Now they're talking about May 1st until he's able to get back in the lineup because the hand just hasn't healed yet.
And he's so anxious to play. And I hope they continue to be very cautious. You wouldn't want him to play too soon and re-injure himself and be out for an even longer period of time. There's a drive, but it's going to be caught. Inconvenience there, and he has it. Wilkins flied to Inconvenience. 2 out. 2 on. And here's Jose Vizcaíno. A little bit outside. Same 2 teams tomorrow night. The first night game of the year for the Cubs. Game time, 6 o'clock Chicago time. And don't forget the Chicagoland cable. Every Cub game at midnight. One ball, 1 strike. Vizcaíno, after homering with 2 on to the 4th home run of his entire career, minor league and major league, and only the 2nd of his major league career, has fanned the last 2 times. Tyler Green, 23-year-old youngster making his major league debut. Struck him out for the 3rd time in a row. 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 men left. We go in the bottom of the 9th. Cubs leading. We go in the bottom of the 9th. Here is Lenny Dykstra leading off. Randy Meyer going for the first Cubs save of the year. The Cubs, there's a strike. The Cubs trying to even out their record at 2-2 by handing the Phillies a first defeat of the season. They have swept the 3-game set in Houston. 1 ball, 1 strike. 11-7 Cubs.
Phillies were trying to do something they haven't done since 1915, and that start the season with 4 straight wins. But the Cubs have Made it very tough on Philly pitching today.
Here's Dykstra. Fly ball, left field, coming over. Derek May, one away. I had that wrong. Tomorrow it'll be Mike Morgan pitching for the Cubs. You remember he pitched a great game against Maddox, only to lose. And he'll face Terry Mulholland, who beat Houston in his first outing. And then Sunday, Jose Guzman, celebrating his 30th birthday today, will face Curt Schilling of the Phillies. Whoa, look out. Look out. Look. Boy, give that guy the medal. Mickey Morandini just threw a bat further than anybody else in history. The fan is going to give him a bat, but they're going to give the fan another walk club to replace it. They're telling the fan, I hope they don't ask him for his There, they're giving him the bat. I'm glad they didn't ask him for his seat stuff. Morandini takes it high.
Came very close to getting a face burger along with his newly acquired good seat.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Curveball outside. 2-2. Mickey Morandini hit the ball hard 4 times in a row. 2 hits to show for it, and he strikes out. Randy Myers strikes him out. That's the 9th strikeout for the Cub pitchers. The Cubs have fanned 8 times against the assortment. And here is John Kruk. He homered in the 3rd. Kruk has not had anything but an extra base hit. Every hit he's had has been either a double or a home run.
He's only hitting .467.
He has had 6 doubles and 1 homer. That's his 7 hits.
Not a bad start for John Kruk.
Randy Myers ahead of him now. 1-2. A little bit high. That close-up we just showed you of Randy Myers, for a guy who's a little bit of a flake, he's a handsome young man, and he has a lot of fun with everybody. 2-2. Boy, got away with a hanging curve that time, which was fouled back.
Before the game, Dennis Menke was talking about John Kruk, and Kruk was complaining about having a sore back. He walked away, and Menke said, when your body looks like that, you're going to have some pain every day.
He is reminiscent to me of Babe Ruth. Look at that stance. That's not the way the Babe did it. The Babe put his feet together, as I remember pictures I've seen. 3-2 now. Let's get it over with. And so Myers issues a base on ball.
Randy Myers is going to be a lot like Mitch Williams here. You're not going to see many 1, 2, 3 innings. He's going to try to make it as exciting as possible before getting the job done.
Here's Dave Howlands. 11-7 in favor of the Cubs. Myers shooting for the first Cubs save of the year. There goes the runner, nobody covering. Nobody covered. And so they'll have to give Pluck a stolen base.
Well, that falls into the domain of the official score, Harry. He doesn't have to give him a stolen base because he really stole it uncontested, but we'll have to see what he decides.
Yeah, but he didn't trot down. He started as if he were trying to steal. Of course, hard to imagine a guy stealing with a score 11-7 and 2 out. Hollins takes the strike.
It's really a good play because the run doesn't mean anything, but what you do is you take away the force at second base, which might keep the inning alive if a ball's hitting the hole and Sanchez is able to knock it down.
2 out, 1 on. Into the dirt. 2 balls and a strike. We are in the 9th. The Cubs lead 11-7. Strong and a miss. 2-2. So we'll see Mike Morgan tomorrow night against southpaw Terry Mulholland, with Jose Guzman pitching Sunday. The Cubs had not homered earlier this year, but today they've added 4. They now have hit 4 homers, all in this game. Willie Wilson, by the way, has hit safely. He's the only man to hit safely in all 4 games played by the Cubs. And Wilken with a count 2-2. Randy Myers. '31-year-old left-hander out of Vancouver, Washington. Cubs win. Cubs win. He struck him out. And that retires the side and ends the ball game. And the Cubs have won the first road game of the year. And there's the hitting star of today. He got 2 of the Cubs' 4 homers. Vizcaíno and Mark Grace getting the other 2. And it's a happy and relaxed Chicago Cub Ball Club after a tough series in Chicago, which they dropped 2 out of 3. They've won the first game here, and their season's record now is they've won 2 and they've lost 2. We'll be back with the highlights in a moment.